Hey, readers and writers, let's do a quick recap. So, this week we are working to answer the question, do aliens exist? And the way that we are doing this is by talking about arguments in literature. So, what do we mean by that? What is an argument in literature? Well, an argument is something that you support with evidence. You come up with an opinion and you work to support that opinion and to prove and to convince others that your opinion is correct. So, what is your opinion and what facts can you use to prove that opinion? So, we're asking the question, do aliens exist? And that's something that I'm asking you this week. What is your opinion? So, in order to collect evidence and in order to formulate this opinion, we've been talking about main idea. So, we started a little bit of this yesterday. Main idea is something that we support with details. So, what we are doing this week is determining the main idea of a text and explaining how that's supported by main ideas. So, this comes to that umbrella model. What is this broad topic? What is it that the author is trying to communicate? How does the author support it then with details and making sure that all of this is covered? So, again, what's the main idea and how is that supported by details? So, let's take another listen to our main idea song. Let's pause the video here. Awesome. So, again, the main idea is that broad topic. It's what the reader wants to say, what the author wants to say. It's what the author wants the reader to take away. It's that broad topic that's being discussed and written about in the text. So, yesterday we took a look at two excerpts from Mysteries of Alien Visitors and Abductions. And we, in those pages 6 through 9, we came up with that broad idea that throughout history, hundreds of people have made reports of seeing aliens. Remember, we had rephrased that to say throughout history because had we been too specific with the date, then there's no way that our key details would have fallen under that umbrella. They would have been outside of the umbrella. When it comes to key details, what we then did was took a look at some specifics in the text. What are some specific examples of people making reports of seeing aliens? And then, because we're in fifth grade, we went and found some direct quotes from the text that also worked with those key details. Then I had you give it a try. So here's what I came up with from the passage that you had practiced with, pages 16 through 19. So the main idea of these sections were that aliens have been spotted worldwide. Then what we did was found some key details to support this. So the first example was that Maurice Massey saw a UFO in France on July 1st, 1965, specific from the text. Then I found a quote to go with it. Maurice saw two small figures examining the bushes, and that was on page 16. So that's a direct quote talking about the aliens that this guy saw. Our second key detail, Rosa Lottie Dinelli saw aliens in Italy on November 1st, 1954. Quote from the text, two creatures appeared. They are about 4 feet tall. That was page 18. And then finally, our third key detail, Inácio de Souza saw aliens in Brazil on August 13th, 1967. Quote, next to the spacecraft were three small figures, page 19. So again, after we found this broad umbrella idea, aliens have been spotted worldwide. Well, now here are three examples of aliens being spotted worldwide. So we're going to take a look at a new text. So what I'd like to do is pause the video right now to help you get into our bookshelf because this book is actually found online. So let's pause. Great. Now that you have found where this book is located online, we're going to go ahead and read. So you can follow along on the screen. You can follow along in your book, whichever you prefer. But let's take a look at page 12. Now, it's important to note that it's page 12 in the book, not necessarily page 12 in the page search. So flip to page 12 as you'll see on the pages in the book. Where will aliens live? Chapter 3. In science fiction stories, aliens come from all sorts of places. While some come from planets like our Earth, other aliens live on desert planets with nothing but sand. Some come from frozen planets with blizzards that never stop. Some even come from stars. To narrow down our search for alien life, let's consider the things that scientists believe all life needs in order to develop. Life needs something to make up its body. Living things need to be made of something. all living things on Earth are composed of one or more cells. Cells are microscopic structures that come together to make up our bodies. Humans are made of trillions of cells, and each cell type does a different thing. Many different things go into building our bodies and making them work. But as we search for alien life in the cosmos, the one thing that's most important might surprise you: water. And then here we have a diagram of planets in our solar system. What are the planets in our solar system like? And it talks about what they're made of. Water. You may know that people, plants, and animals need water in order to live. You might have been told to drink at least 8 glasses of water every day. But do you know why water is so important to staying healthy? It's because your body is actually about 70% water. And it's not just humans. On Earth, all living organisms use water to build their bodies, to store genetic material, the information that tells cells what to do, and to transport things inside their bodies. So here we have a biology deep dive about water and why your body needs water. Why water? Have you ever noticed how the sugar in your cereal disappears when it touches milk? The sugar is still there, but it is mixed in with the liquid milk and broken into parts so small that you can no longer see it. When a material disappears into a liquid, it dissolves. Scientists think life on Earth uses liquid water because water can dissolve more things than any other liquid can. This makes it great for carrying things around in our bodies, like chemicals between brain cells, oxygen to our muscles, or waste material out of our bodies. While there are lots of liquids that can dissolve other substances, water is the best. What if alien life didn't need water to form? Even though life on Earth developed with water, that doesn't mean that's the only way life might arise. Methane and ammonia, which are gases on Earth, become liquid in the freezing cold. Though methane and ammonia are not quite as good as water at dissolving other substances, many scientists believe they could still work to form the basis of life. That would mean life could exist on one of Saturn's moons, Titan, which is home to many methane lakes. All living things on Earth are made of liquid water. It is one of the most important building blocks for making living things, and nothing we know of can live without it. So there's a good chance that if life has developed somewhere else in the universe, it also needs liquid water. Life needs energy. The second thing scientists believe all life needs in order to develop is an energy source. Living organisms do a lot of things. Plants make food, grow roots, stems, and leaves, and create seeds to make new plants. Animals run, hunt, and travel from place to place. The ability to grow and move is one of the things that makes living things alive. And all living things need energy to do it. On Earth, we get our energy from the sun, which emits energy in the form of heat and light. Living organisms can then use this energy to do the things they need to do every day. And then up here we had looking for alien life, Europa, ocean world. Biology deep dive, the energy food chain. On Earth, plants are called producers because they produce energy using light from the sun. Through a process called photosynthesis, plants absorb light energy and transform it into nutrients they can use to grow. Animals are called consumers because they consume or eat other organisms for energy. Some consumers eat plants for their energy, others eat other animals. In this way, energy from the sun moves from plants to animals and gives living things the energy they need to stay alive. So where would aliens live? Based on life on Earth, astrobiologists believe that life needs something to make up its body, like water, plus energy in order to survive and grow. We can use this information to narrow down our search for life in the universe. Most likely, alien life exists on a planet that's orbiting a star much like Earth orbits our sun. And our position in space is important. We're far enough from the sun that we don't burn up and lose all our water, yet close enough that we get all the energy we need and our water doesn't completely freeze. This distance, not too close and not too far, is called the sun's habitable zone. It's also known as the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold. So one more page before we look for the main idea of this section. Now our search for life in the universe is much narrower. We've eliminated all the empty space of the universe and anywhere too hot or too cold from our search. We're looking for a planet with water that's within the habitable zone of the star it orbits. This gives us a clear goal as we turn our telescopes towards the sky. We may eventually find that life in the universe has found a way around our expectations. If we find methane-based life forms that get energy from their planet's core, well, we can apologize to them then. Looking for alien life outside the habitable zone. So this talks about a spacecraft looking for data of life that exists. So what in the world is the main idea? That was a long section. That was all of chapter 3. But even just from discussing, well, we talked about water. We talked about how living things need a body to live in. Living things need energy, all that kind of stuff. What we're really talking about in this section is that there are specific things scientists believe all life forms must have to live somewhere. So they went into detail about this, but overall, that whole chapter is all about this is what we think living things need. So what were some of those things? Well, living things need cells to make up their bodies. That was in the very beginning on page 13. So a quote from the text, cells are microscopic structures that come together to make up our bodies. That supports. Another thing is that scientists say all living things need water to survive. It spent a lot of time on that. So one quote we could pick out is that on Earth, all living organisms use water to build their bodies, to store genetic material, and to transport things inside their bodies. That was page 14. My last key detail is that scientists believe all life forms need an energy source. The ability to grow and move is one of the things that makes living things alive, and all living things need energy to do it. That was page 17. So notice how the main idea was the umbrella. It was broad, and all these key details fit right inside of it. You can't have your main idea be too specific, because then your key details won't fit in. So it's going to be your turn. So we're going to read a couple pages here. And then you are going to reread and come up with your main idea. But let's go ahead and read first. Let's open to page 41. Again, not in the search bar, but 41 on the pages. So your only job right now is to listen as I read. So how will aliens travel? Traveling through space is hard and takes a very long time, even if you ignore the fact that a single stray asteroid, broken piece of equipment, or miscalculation could doom the entire ship. Space travel is a long, slow journey, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. Since aliens can't move at the speed of light to shorten their trip, how might they travel through space to get from planet to planet? Ion engines. Humans' top speed is only 0.0004% the speed of light, but spacefaring aliens would most likely be able to travel much faster. While it's impossible for anyone to reach 100% of light speed, a type of engine called an ion engine might allow aliens to get space travel to 20% the speed of light. An ion engine works by using light energy, like the light from a star or a laser beam, to energize atoms of a gas called xenon. A ship could use these energized atoms to push itself through space the same way a rocket uses explosive fossil fuels. This would cut a trip between Alpha Centauri and Earth down from 105,500 years to only 20 years. That's still a long time, but a team of alien scientists or artificially intelligent robots could make the journey. Generation ships. One way aliens might use to get from one star system to another could be to build huge spaceships called generation ships. A generation ship would be as big as a city or even larger, with a large population of people on board. Rather than being a ship for scientists, a generation ship would be useful for travelers attempting to colonize a new planet. On a generation ship, people would live, work, and have families, living out their lives on the way to their eventual destination. As long as the ship could provide food, energy, and air for everyone on board, the ship could travel for hundreds of years. While the original inhabitants of the ship wouldn't make it to the new planet, their descendants would. Suspended animation. Another option the alien could use to travel long distances might be to freeze travelers at the start of their journey and wake them up later. This technology is still unavailable to humans, but many science fiction writers and scientists believe that it might be an alien civilization's best bet for getting from one end of the galaxy to another. by putting travelers in a hibernation-like sleep called suspended animation, perhaps by freezing them, they could make it so that, to the astronauts, it feels like only a day has passed in their 200-year trip. Neither of these options will shorten the length of the trip. For people on the passenger's home planet, the same amount of time will still pass. This means that these options won't work very well for different species to communicate, trade, or work together. We've got types of spaceships in pop culture. So these are movies and such that we've seen. Phone Home 1, Millennium Falcon, Axiom, Galactica, USS Enterprise. So I want to know, of these sections of our alien text, what's the main idea? Can you find 1, 2, or 3 supporting details? Let's pause here. Awesome. So we're getting the gist once we take a look at a section. What is that big, broad topic that the author's talking about? What details does the author use to support that main idea? What I want us to start thinking about is how we can use this information to then argue a claim. Do you think aliens exist? Why or why not? And that's going to be part of your writing again today. So independent work, you've got another short passage today. And then you're going to answer the question about main idea. When it comes to writing, we're going to come back to the same discussion post. Do you think aliens exist? Why or why not? Add a new post today. Add to your thinking because we've learned a little bit more. Happy reading and happy writing.